Welcome to the Family Nonsense Podcast, providing personal finance for families. Join Rich and James, who debate, relate, and make sense of the financial nonsense. All right, everybody. Today's topic is what you're buying making you poor. We have a guest speaker today. We're very excited to welcome Wes. He's from Honest Personal Finance. So say hello, Wes.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
And we have Rich, as always, every week, Old Faithful here, back again, he's putting up with me. So, but this is a really good topic. It's very near and dear to my heart. I've made a lot of mistakes personally with me, my family. I'm still making mistakes. I love to hear your guys' take. So let's kick it off with something that I really am interested in, and it's really getting in a lot of the news lately. But people are purchasing a house that's above their means. So what's your take on it, Wes? How do you feel about this? Is this making people poor today or what?
I definitely think so. I think that, of course, on the housing issue, sometimes there's only so much you can do about the housing market. But there's a lot of people who say, oh, I can't live there. Oh, no, I can't live especially where I live in Florida. There's a lot of people that don't want to live in, a blue collar kind of community. They think that, I need to be surrounded by other working class professionals. Yeah. Right.
Coming to Florida now.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So it's just nuts. And there's so many people that just seem to think that I can't be seen, in that kind of house. I need to have new construction. They feel like there's a sense of entitlement almost. And it really struggles a lot of people's finances because, you need to have that really flashy brand new house, but it's that's something 3 or 4 houses down the line. That's not really meant for you. It's kind of like cars. You don't get the nicest car when you're in your 20s. If you're just starting out, you might have to put some elbow grease in that house in order to make it yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, I like his opinion already. So what do you got for me?
Well, this housing market isn't helping anybody, right? But when the interest rates were, below 3% and houses were still somewhat affordable, then people were like, let me squeeze into the biggest, baddest house I could get because I could afford the monthly payment, or at least I think I can right now. But those days are long gone. So I think that people are going to have to go back to the rite of passage, the way that I did it. So when I first got married, we bought this, we saved money, right? We got money for our wedding. We saved for a down payment. Yeah. We bought this nice little humble 2-bedroom condo on the 3rd level of, an apartment building kind of complex in a crappy school district. We didn't have any kids. We didn't care. We were just happy to buy our own place. Right. And then we stayed there for a few years. We saved our money. We worked hard. There was a hot housing market back then. This was back 2003. We sold that thing. We upgraded a little bit into a townhouse, had our first kid. Right. So we went up a step from there. The housing market, soon after we bought that, crashed. That was in 2007, 2008. And I kind of got left smacked in the face. Oh, my God, I didn't realize that I could be underwater on a house like that. Luckily, we weren't underwater because we had such a big down payment from parlaying the proceeds from the first house. But then we had to save for a while again. And we stayed there. And then, it took me 10 years before we actually moved on and went into our next house when we had enough money to go ahead and do that. And now at this point, we're having, our second kid and then our third kid. And it took us steps to get there. And we had to save a lot and work a lot and work our way up to it. And, everything worked out. But at the end of the day, it's you need to make sure that you can afford the payment, because there's nothing worse than the stress of having a big ass housing payment weighing you down, where you feel like if something happens in your life to throw you off, that, you could be facing a situation that you can't make your monthly mortgage payment anymore. So yeah, slow and steady. No reason to rush into these huge mortgage payments. Nobody needs new construction, when you're just getting married or just out of college or anything like that. Just build your way up to it. And the best thing was, my townhouse, we actually kept it as a rental. So because the housing market got clobbered, I didn't want to sell the thing. And when we went into our new house, I kept that townhouse as a rental. And that was one of the ways I started building wealth, or at least it was one of the ways that I learned that being a landlord is very hard and dealing with tenants is very hard. And, but it was always something that I wanted to do. But at least it was a learning thing for me, where I learned that I did want to own property, but just not close where the tenant could drive me nuts all the time. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I agree with you guys. And I overextended myself when I first bought my house. So about 7 years ago, I had twin boys, and we were grown out of our apartment. And I felt like at the time I was stupid with money. I felt I was entitled to buying a house. And, just because, my family got double the size, I needed double the, place to live. And, today compared to 50 years from now, the houses have tripled in size from people 50 years ago. it's insane, right? I'm one of those people in that category, unfortunately. Luckily, I paid off my house over the past 7 years, but looking at myself 7 years younger, I would have never overextended myself, got a house big. It drove me crazy the past, 5 to 7 years trying to pay off this house. And to me, it was a nightmare. I just do not like having bills. And I got really taken to school when it came to having that mortgage. I dealt with some health issues. Even my kids had some health issues, lost some jobs through it. So I really went through the ringer, and I would never go do it again. I'm glad where I'm at now, but the younger me, I would have kind of just lived in a house kind of 1/3 the size I have, and then just try to kind of build my way up, kind of like how Wes was saying, kind of just, don't start out with your end house, kind of, and build yourself up. So definitely, just the house could be a nightmare. So don't think it's a dream always. It's kind of, it's a bill, and the mortgage is going to come the same time every month, whether you're sick, laid off, it does not care, and it does not take a holiday. So be very smart, and that's one just way that's going to make you poor. Another thing that I kind of want to transition to is, there's such a stigma and status with buying a car. So people are getting, these nice cars, and they're getting ugly car payments, is what I like to call it. Wes, what's your take on people buying cars these days and leasing cars? Is it making them poor or what?
It's really making them poor. I think, honestly, I feel like, the housing crisis in 08, I think the car crisis is coming, and I think it's going to be worse than that housing crisis in 08.
I agree.
There's so many people who are always upside down in their cars, and they think that that's just normal, and it's just mind-boggling. So something people need to know is that no one cares about the drunk car that you're driving. Nobody is impressed by the car that you're driving. Everyone's seen that. Go ahead.
Some of them hate you because of it. Because if you have a nice car, they hate you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But, a flashy car, you're always going to be like worried about someone hitting it, or I like driving a car where if someone's dog jumps on it, that's the 17th scratch it's gotten that week. Okay, who cares?
Yeah.
I paid $6,000 for the car. I don't have a car payment like you. Who's gonna care? If someone's apologizing for their kid, their door banger in the minivan hits your car, it's like, I don't care. It's already been dinged up. So and it's also just expensive cars come with expensive maintenance usually too, and it's such a push me. But I just think that a car is nothing more than a fire pit that you throw money onto to keep burning.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no shame in having a cheap car, none whatsoever.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. Rich, what's going on with you with the cars here?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Crazy or what?
Yeah, and as you get older, it does become more of a status symbol also, which is just ridiculous. Everybody's getting a new car every 3 years, and now with car prices the way they are, like the average car payment is over $700 right now for the first time ever.
It's a mortgage.
Yeah, it's like a mortgage. If you have 2 cars in your driveway and you're paying $1,400 for them a month, that is absolute insanity. So I am a big fan of. Yeah, it's crazy.
People are making that like normal. Like that's
right. That's like a normal thing to do right now. But I agree that there's a car crisis coming, because as the supply chains open up a little bit more, we get more supply, the demand comes down. It's going to be a trickle down effect from there. And people are financing, you could finance 90, 95, 100% of the car if you're purchasing it, or if you're leasing it, then the values are just going to drop tremendously on these things. You're not going to be able to resell them. You're underwater on the car, like from day one, and not just underwater. Like you hear these stories about people, trying to look for these fancy cars, and they're paying $15,000 over MSRP, just to be able to get into a car. It makes no sense to me. There's nothing better than not having a car payment. When you don't have a car payment, it's a very nice thing. The insurance, it's like, all the costs of everything go down when you're driving an older car. I joke because I say my wife, we had a Honda Pilot that we didn't have a payment on for years, and my wife eventually, squeezed me into getting a new car, and I fought her on it for a while. And the only way that I really justified doing it was because we both have our own businesses, so I was able to take a business expense, a write-off on it of 100%, and it reduced my taxes in a significant enough way that I justified doing it. And we paid cash for it as well, But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but it's hard because especially when you're married and you have kids and you feel like, I need the big SUV, the car seats, but the kids, they trash the car anyway. So it's like, it looks like after 3 months, it doesn't look new anymore,
Oh, dude, I got Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops in the back seat. They're like 7 years old. You know, they're about as old as my kids. You know, so I mean, my car's disgusting. And and just really, I used to value a car back in the day. One of the reasons why I wanted to get a good job and make good money is I wanted to get a nice car and I wanted to show people. And then I started having kids, and then I just kind of just got minimalistic. And I realized that was like the last thing I ever wanted. And it was making me happy to not have a car payment. I was giving my car a nickname. It was, you know, this junk. It was just a piece of junk. And it really kind of elevated me to saving more, helped me pay off my house, helped me invest, helped me create memories with my family, made me less vulnerable at my job because I didn't have a car payment. So who cares? But you know, and
just reduces stress. You know, just reduces stress all around when you don't have these payments hanging on. Payments make you poor. You know, when you become a slave to those payments, that's what makes you poor. You get rid of those payments, like all of a sudden, all right, I have money to invest. I have money to, you know, go ahead and save for my future, buy myself financial freedom. That's when things start getting much better. But those payments, that's what sticks people in the rat race, keeping you paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's like, I can afford the monthly payment. That's where their mind goes. They're like, all right, well, I can afford that monthly payment right now, you know, and I want that car. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. But you're going to have that monthly payment forever, because as soon as those 3 years go by, you're going to go trade that thing in and get a new one. And it's just a never ending cycle of big monthly payments.
Yeah. You know that TikTok trend where people are saying, hey, nice car, man. What do you do for
a living? I saw that.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't, this is an attack on that guy, but I can't stand that trend at all, because it shows cars as a status symbol. And when they're actually the exact opposite. No one can I mean, expensive car tells me more that you're more likely to have cash flow issues than it tells me that you're successful. So I don't really like that trend, but hey, it gets a bunch of views, so everyone loves it.
And it's just a shame that like kids, you know, they're seeing that and, you know, they're thinking that that's going to be acceptable. And really, they're just going to be a slave to that car. And that car is going to be a piece of junk, and they're going to be dissatisfied with it in a couple months to years. So you just kind of have to sharpen up your skills and just be a little bit more savvy, because the car is making you poor. And the average person buys about 6 cars in their lifetime. And I'm sure it's going to be about 9, the way that people are just acting these days, because I feel like we just need a car like it's a cell phone. So, you know, if we can, in our lifespan, buy less cars and we could kind of get our mileage out of those cars, you know, we could really, like, if we can just have 3 cars in our lifespan, or just even like 4 maybe, like we could just be way more just valuable when it comes to investing, to be debt free. So if we can kind of just, you know, just use it to every mile we can, you know, that's really just going to help over our lifespan of being debt free and investing. So just keep
also get rid of some of these slimy car dealerships too. Hopefully it'll close some of those slimy car dealerships as well.
I can't stand going in those. So let's switch it up here. So another thing that I'm just seeing a lot of people are, you know, they're just having a hard time when it comes to debt, is people are just making a lot of stupid purchases. You know, consumerism is insane today. There's so much temptation. I can't stand it. My kids are asking for stuff, and I can't help it. They're just seeing it everywhere. Wes, what's your take on just swiping that credit card and, you know, paying interest every month on all this stuff out there?
So a couple of months ago, I had the whatever the opposite of pleasure or privilege is, the absolute dishonor of going into a Hobby Lobby. And I just could not stand some of the things that I saw in there, and the fact that so many carts were full. And you just know that most of those people there, and I try not to stereotype people, but you just know most of the people there already have a bunch of wooden letters that they're not using anyway. You know, like how is this adding value to your life? You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there is something wrong with it. That's a personal. But from a financial perspective, you can do that if you're already filthy rich. But yet you don't go online. Everyone's complaining about the crazy inflation, and they can't afford their rent and all this stuff. It's just like, then why the hell are you still going to Hobby Lobby? What the hell is there that you absolutely need? You know, like, you can't tell me you don't have stuff in your house that you haven't used in years. You know, it's just so many people cause their own issues, and they don't even realize that they did.
You know what it is? It is a hobby. That's the thing. Shopping is a hobby these days. That's the problem. It's entertainment, right? It's crazy. You know,
I mean, it's not entertaining to watch yourself go broke, you know, and I just hope that
it's for these people. They don't care.
I hope that they can see it for what it really is. And sometimes I think that there's so much of an issue where people they don't make their own decisions. They buy stuff because other people, you know, you talk about your kids. I mean, kids especially do this, but I don't have kids. I'm not going to speak like I do, because, you know, everyone's a good parent until they have kids. But yet, you know, it's just one of those dumb things that, like, I gotta have this because everyone else has it. Oh wait, hey, my coworker Joe Schmo or something. You know, I've seen people I work with that. And I mean, of course, it's going to be women here, but I've seen people I work with that complain about not getting paid enough, and then they still have a Louis Vuitton handbag.
Yeah.
Why are you complaining about money for? You know, like you're causing your own problems. And if you just have that one bag, I guarantee you got a bunch of other worthless crap that you're buying too. You know, like shopping is not something to pass time. It's something that you have to. You know, you shouldn't get pleasure from spending money. To a certain extent, maybe when you're on vacation, but you shouldn't be going shopping and get pleasure. It pains me to spend money. You know, if more people thought like this, like I've actually gone out to get things that I need and then wind up talking my way out of it. And then I come home and go, what the hell did I do that for? I've needed socks for 6 months now. I'm like, and I didn't buy it because it's like, no, I can make these last longer. I'm like, just buy the $13 pair of socks, you know. But if more people thought like this, you know, I think that we would have a much better, you know, it's not good to live in a society that's dependent upon people wasting their money. And I think that's really, really important. I just hope that we don't have an economy like when I worked from home in the beginning of the pandemic, all of these, like how many people actually need something from Amazon? Amazon driver was in here 2 or 3 times a day. What the hell are all these people needing? You know, I just have a hard time believing that people need half the crap that they're buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, what's going on with your credit card action, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same way. You know, it's almost, first of all, most people do not think like you do, right? They think like, you know what, I work hard. I deserve to spend this money. I deserve to buy these things.
It's almost like Wes's opinions frowned upon these days.
Yeah.
It's shunned. Yes.
It's like, you know, it's not fashionable these days to have that type of opinion. It's sad.
You should see the comments on my TikTok videos. There's so many people. I just say, if you're broke, just tell me, bro. It's like, no, it has nothing to do if you're broke or not. Like your income shouldn't be dictating your spending decisions. Your net worth should. If you have too low of a net income, then you shouldn't be buying something. There's no shortage of people. I mean, we see NFL players do it all the time, rap artists and stuff. I mean, what was it? Michael Jackson was on the borderline of bankruptcy before he died. You know, how do you have all this money and still have nothing? Because people just spend their money based on their income because they think that they deserve it. Your ego is costing you so much money, and it's pathetic.
Yep. Yeah, and it is pressure too from all sides, like you said, like with my kids, you know, them seeing their friends have the newest and latest things, spending money on video games all the time. It's just it's a dark, deep hole to go down. And I always talk about it, you know, but it's education. You gotta teach these kids from a very young age that it's just not worth it. There are more important things in life, like having financial freedom and being financially secure, you know, where it relieves all the stress in your life. You know, it just makes life so much better rather than buying stupid shit and living paycheck to paycheck, always worrying, you know, where your next meal is going to come from if you get laid off or if something happens with your job. But it's also the corporation. So there's ads in your face all day, all night, right? We have this economy that is dependent on us spending all of our money. So places like, you know, Hobby Lobby, Amazon, all these places, it's like, it's constant. They make it as easy. You know, you flip open your phone and it's like, oh, look at this great deal. Like you'll be convinced to buy something. You flip through Amazon right now, like you'll be convinced that you need whatever crap you see that comes up on your homepage. It's just always in your face. You can't get away from it. You know, and it's on sale. It's like, oh, it's on sale. You know, I break my wife's chops all the time because she wants to buy some stupid shit. And she's like, oh, but it's like 40% off. I'm like, the thing's marked up 1,000%. Yeah. So it's like the same exact item, you know, like it used to cost $50, right? But now it's $100, but it's 50% off. I got to buy this 50% off. I'm like, it cost the same it did last week. They just jacked up the price and said it was on sale. It's like so stupid. There's so many of these mind tricks, you know, and people fall for it because they want to justify why they need to buy this thing right now because they want it, you know. And then the dopamine hit, it lasts for a couple hours, and then it's like, all right, what can I buy next? You know, what's coming in next to me? So it's hard, you know, and it's not really people's faults because they're just not educated, and the marketing is so sophisticated, and the ads is just so targeted where. You know, all I got to do is think to myself that like, oh, like I want a new pair of Jordans. Like I'm thinking it in my brain, and I'm going to like hit this button over here on my computer, and there's going to be like a new pair of Jordans showing up on there, you know, and they're going to be on sale. They'll give me a coupon for it too, or some crap. It's like they just it's constant marketing, you know, and if you don't have that mindset, like, you know, there's no way I'm spending money on stupid crap, then you get sucked into it. So it is hard, you know, and I feel bad because so many people live paycheck to paycheck, and they're just not saving for emergencies and for their futures and everything, and they're blowing all their money on stupid crap that nobody needs, and it's like a vicious cycle and machine that you just can't pull yourself out of. And then when you throw family into it and you put yourself in an area where other people are doing the same stupid shit, and maybe they're making a lot more money than you're making, and it's like, well, I got to keep up with them, so I'm going to keep on buying all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like you're poor, and what are you going to do about it? You know, you got to get another job. It's hard hard to cut back. Once you cross that threshold, it's very hard to pull yourself back over onto the other side. So it's tough.
Yeah. They say that the average household has 300,000 items in its house that people have bought. What the hell is in your house? Like, I mean, I'm a bad offender because I have kids and I've lived a life of dumb before I became minimalistic. So I'm still recovering from some of my stupid purchases. But I'm just thinking, like, they used to say, if you ever go to a desert island, what are the three things that you need? And here I go. I have 300,000 freaking things in my house. Like, I got to choose between that. Like, now I'm getting stressed because I have all this crap that I bought. So you really, like, it's just, there's too much temptation out there. I said this before. I think I said it on the last podcast. Shut it down. When you feel impulsive, there's no better way to just shut it down. There is no decision, because what you just told yourself is, I'm not looking at this. I'm not going to buy this. I don't have it. And also, a lot of people, they like that feeling of making that purchase. Well, replace that feeling and that craving with paying off debt, with saving money. See that notification come through. Go and invest the money. Check your portfolio every once in a while. That'll give you a dopamine too, and that can kind of replace, that usual feeling of purchasing something. And that can keep you out of the poorhouse, and then you're gonna start building wealth. So that's a good hobby to get. Don't be a shopaholic. Be an investaholic. So
I usually tell people to move your house once, and you'll stop going shopping. Move your house somewhere else, or help someone else move. You'll stop going shopping a lot. I guarantee you.
You already got me cringing. I've never moved yet. This is the first house I had. I could just imagine. I would be.
Everyone says they don't have much stuff, and then they start moving, and then every single box they're going, "Holy cow! I do have a lot of crap." Wow, yeah. I'm guilty of that too. I mean, I'm not some Jesus Christ over here. Like, I do have a bunch of more crap than I need. I mean, I'm sitting in a room looking at stuff that I haven't used in here. So yeah, I mean, we're all guilty of it. Remember, all that junk in your house used to be money. That's money that you could use for other things. So whenever you start thinking that I'm broke, where am I going to get my money? Oh my gosh, the system is keeping me down. It's like all that crap in your house was once money. It's once money that could have worked for you, but it's no longer working for you because you bought crap with it. So,
Well, let's wrap this up, guys. Let's close this conversation. So, Wes, can you kind of just fill us in? What's the best way for people to just avoid making these bad purchases and avoid being poor? Like, what's your number one go-to tip to just help people out?
Remove your house. No, I usually would say, a lot of times I would say that the first thing that a lot of people get in trouble with was credit cards. If you have credit card debt, a lot of people do have debt. And I'm not saying it has to be $10,000. It's still a problem because it's only $1,500. But I would strongly recommend people either go out and either use cash or only use their debit card for a bit. Make it so that way that money has to come out immediately out of your bank account. I know there's some security issues with that, but beside that point, a lot of that safety stuff's been mitigated anyway. But yet the fact that just spend money right away and make it come out. Don't delay your spending of your money, okay? That might be the quickest way. Because if you put on a credit card, I mean, I'm even guilty of this too. I pay off my credit card every month. I haven't had a balance in years. It's still that delay gives you a little bit of a delay on, but I still love seeing that balance being really low. If it was leaving my bank account right away, I would probably be less inclined to go out and spend a bunch of crap. But for me, sometimes I would say if you can stop spending if you can impulse stop 2 or 3 shopping trips a month, you're going to be amazed at how much more money is in your bank account.
It's good advice. Rich, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I find myself saying the same things all the time. But the first thing is, you got to track all your stuff, right? You got to track your spending every month. I call it turning the lights on. You got to know exactly how much income you got coming in, how much money you got going out every month. You got to make sure that you're saving and investing. You have those goals set out first, right? And then you spend money after you pay yourself, after you send it to different places. But I'm on board with using cash and debit cards. Like, if you have any kind of credit card balance that you are carrying from month to month, you got to put it away. You can't carry credit card balances. It's ridiculous. So if you're doing that, you got to go to cash. You got to go to debit cards. Another thing that I've been doing more recently is even like with grocery shopping and stuff, I'll order through an app. Like, we have a BJ's over here. So when I'm getting food for like my family and stuff, I will go through the app. You could have the coupons right there that you match to your purchases, and it just stops all the impulse buying. Like, if I take my kids into BJ's and I start walking down the aisles in there, it's like, who the hell knows what I'm leaving with?
It's an experience going there. What are you talking about?
They want this, they want that. It's like I'm filling up the cart. It's like, oh, we need this, we need that. No, we don't need any of that crap, right? So I order on the app. They bring it out to the car, and I'm out. Boom. All right. So
with kids, I know that's very clutch.
Yeah, so I've cut my grocery spending down by doing that. Also, a thing I'm a big fan of is trying to have days during the week where you don't spend $1. It's very hard to do if you've ever tried to do it, because things just happen. Things just come up where it's like, if you could, and I have 5 of us, right? So this is much harder for my wife. But if we could go a full day without spending $1, to me, that is a huge win. And I'm like, all right, let's try to put 2 days together. We'll do 2 days in a row. But it's not easy to do. Even think about it. You run out to like a gas station, you got a drink, or you just stupid crap that you buy throughout the day, right? It's like just turn it all off, turn it all down, and be done with it. Build up that emergency fund. If you go buy some things once you have a shitload of money in the bank and you're doing well financially, you have no debt, and you're saving towards all your goals, then you can go spend and not feel guilty about it. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck and things are tight, you got to just change behavior. You got to change your habits in order to get yourself to a point where you just feel more secure, because you'll be happier. It leads to more happiness and less stress.
You can spend stupid amounts of money after you have stupid amounts of money to spend, but not before.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, my advice is just live below your means. It's simple as that. If you can't be poor if you're staying within your budget, and you're not trying to compare yourself to others. So just live below your means, and you'll be well on your path to beating half these people in the chaos of their credit card spending. So. But yeah, so that wraps it up. So thanks a lot, Wes, for coming by and chopping it up with us. So it's been great. So where can everybody find you?
So I'm mostly on TikTok. That's my main platform. It's called Honest Personal Finance. It's spelled exactly the way it sounds. I do have a small. You can get to all my other social media from there. I'm also on Instagram, Honest P Finance, but you're going to see pretty much the same stuff there. I'm trying to start on Twitter too. It's Honest P Finance there as well. But yeah, that's I have 1 follower, so I'd really appreciate you. But I'm getting close to 50,000 followers on TikTok. That's my primary place. So check me out on there. I'm happy to have you.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely recommend checking out Wes. Check out his website. Check out his TikTok. He's very entertaining. He's one of the good people on TikTok. I really love his opinion. He'll yell at you a little bit, but you deserve it. So
yes. It's like a personal trainer. Yes. Like a personal trainer. They just want you to get stronger,
Exactly. So check him out. Wes, thanks a lot. Rich, it's been great as well. Thank you for putting up with me another week. And so we hope that everybody subscribes to us and follows us and enjoys this episode and future ones to come. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.